So today we are looking at writing equations of quadratics given 3 random points. So we have already talked about, everybody, writing the equation of a quadratic if we have the vertex and one other point. We just went over that. So what if I don't have that? What if I just have 3 random points and I need to write the equation of this quadratic? Maybe one of these is the vertex, but I would have no way of knowing, right? I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. So what I can do is I can actually write myself a system of equations and solve that system. Do you remember solving systems of equations in 3 variables? I'm going to refresh your memory. Yes, so we're going to get into that. I'm going to do my work on another piece of paper because I don't think there's enough room on here, but that's just me. So that's up to you if you would prefer another sheet. Plus, if I write it in the notebook, then I can scan it to you very easily. All right, so I don't know I don't have a number on this. I'm guessing this is 3-4. I'm gonna go with 3-4. Okay, so let's take a look. So the general formula that we want to be in, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. If I knew what a, b, and c were, I could just pop them in and be done with it. So that's my job, is I need to figure out what a, b, and c are going to be. All right, so we will find a, b, and c and insert them into there. The challenge is figuring out what A, B, and C are. And the only way to do that, if I just have these 3 random points, is to write myself a system of equations. So let's take a look at how we're going to do this. So I'm just looking at number 1 here. And I'm just going to take the 3 points that they give me. So number 1 from the worksheet. They have 11, -7. I'm going to write them vertically, just you'll see why in a second. And then 5, 5. So each one of these points is going to produce for me a new equation. So let me show you how this works. All of these are x's, right? And then all of these are y's. So I'm just going to take x and y and I'm going to plug it in up here. So watch how this works. I'm going to take y, which is -7, equals a, I don't know what a is, so a stays there, times x squared. So that would be 11 squared. Plus b times x again, so I put 11 again, and then I just have a plus c on the end. So does everybody see what I've done so far? I've taken x and y of the first point, and I've plugged it into just the generic formula of a quadratic. Now, what I can do with this is I'm going to clean this up a little bit because I can do 11 squared. I can sort of make it look a little bit nicer. So I'm going to do that. So -7 equals, if I have a times 11 squared, well, 11 squared is 121. So wouldn't I normally write that as 121a? Right? If you kind of clean that up. Same thing here. I don't normally write it as b times 11. Wouldn't that just be 11b? And then I have a plus c on the end. So there is my very first equation. Oops. There we go. There's my first equation, taking that first point and plugging it in for x and y in my generic formula. Is everybody okay so far? Please tell me if you're lost. right. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing with the next point. So remember, that's X, that's Y. I'm going to plug all the pieces in. So Y is 0 equals, I don't know what A is. X is 10, so I'll have 10 squared plus B times 10 again, plus C. And then I just clean it up. That's all I'm doing. You try the third one. Plug in your X and your Y and see if you can clean up that equation and make it nice, just like we did the last two. Okay, you got it? So we're going to plug it in. Y is 5. A, I don't know what you are, but I need X squared, so that's 5 squared, plus B times X, so I'm plugging 5 again, plus C. So when I write that nice, did you get 5 equals 25A plus 5B plus C? Perfect. Now, everybody, take a look-see-loo over here. See those 3 equations you just came up with? Do you remember, I don't know, a chapter or 2 ago, solving 3 variable systems? That's all we're going to do. We're going to take this and we're going to solve the system just like we did way back when. I'm going to refresh your memory how to do that real quick. But yeah, once we're done, it'll give us the values of A, B, and C. So let's try it. So if you recall, we wanted to start by looking for a pair of opposites in my variables. So for example, that's 100A. I'd love for that to be negative 100A. It's not, but I look real quick. I don't have any right now, but then I'm looking for, well, where would be an easy pair to get? I mean, I can always get it with the C's, right? If I just take one of those and I multiply by negative, then my C's would cancel out. Wouldn't that be nice? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my first equation and I'm going to leave it as it is. And I'll take the second one and I'll multiply the second one times negative 1. So I'll do my first equation just as it is. Negative 7 equals 121A plus 11B plus C. And then I'm going to do my second and I'm going to multiply it by negative 1. Once you get that pair of opposites, remember how you're going to add the 2 equations together? Right? So in this case, I get negative 7, 21A, positive 1B, and the C's are gone. Is this ringing a bell? Perhaps? No, I don't know. Once we got that first equation, we start it because we're going to have to leave it for a minute and come back. I feel like I'm going too fast. Are you with me? Okay. Do you remember what you do next? Get all my pieces back in. There we go. Everybody remember the next step? Once I get that first start equation, what do I do then, Adam? I need to get my second start equation first. So I have to go back to the originals. And remember, you have to use the one original that you haven't used yet. Do you remember that? And then you have to cancel out the same letter that you just canceled. So I just canceled out C. I haven't used my third equation yet at all. So I have to use it now. And then I can use either of the other 2. It doesn't matter. So why don't I do the same thing? I'll take the third one as it is, and I'll take the second one, and I'll again times it by negative 1. That'll cancel my C's out for me again. Okay, you have some options here. You don't have to do it that way. But, so I'll take my third equation. Just leave it as it is. And now I'll take the second one times -1 again. Add these together. The C's cancel again, just like they're supposed to. We can star that one. And now our lives are so much easier because now I'm going to solve the system formed by these two starred equations. And notice I only have two variables now. So now it's just solving a normal two variable system way easier. Do you notice anything I can do to make my life a little bit easier right now? Yeah. If you take a look at that second start equation, see how they all have 5 as a common factor? I can divide everything by 5 if I want to and make my number smaller. So why don't we do that? I think it'll help. If I divide everybody by 5, I get 1 equals negative, what is that? 75 divided by 5. 15. 15a minus. So that's what I'm going to use as my start equation now, right? Just divide it by 5. And what luck? Look at my two equations here. I have a pair of opposites. The b's will cancel. I don't even have to do anything. So we got lucky this time. So I'm going to take my two start equations and I'm going to add them together. And then I'll kind of have my answers already. So let me just rewrite this one under here. 1 equals negative 15a minus b. The b's cancel. I'm at negative 6 equals 6a. So we know what a is. A is going to be negative 1. Oh, we have our first of 3. But now to get the second one, really easy. Just go to one of your start equations. It doesn't even matter which one. I'll go to this one right here. Why not? So that'd be 1 equals negative 15 times negative 1 minus b. So b's got to be 14, right? Hooray! Now we have 2 of our numbers already. We have A and B. All I need is C. How do you think I get C? Yes, you go all the way back to one of your 3 originals. And you can pick any of these 3. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to pick the middle one just because the numbers seem the nicest. But it doesn't matter. I'm going to plug in what A and B are, and then I can just solve for C. So I'll take that middle one. So that would be 0 equals 100 times the negative 1 plus 10 times 14 plus C. So let's see what that gets me. Negative 100 plus 140. Let's see. So C is going to have to be a negative 40. Did you get what I got? Yeah, everybody did. Remember, these are so easy to mess up because one little mistake and then everything like gets ruined. So to write my final answer, all I have to do is take y equals ax squared plus bx plus c and plug in a, b, and c. So that's where this is all coming from. So now just plug in a, b, and c, and my final answer looks like this. A was a negative 1, b was 14, c was a negative 40. Ta-da! How cool! Can you check yourself? Of course you can. Take your equation that you came up with and plug in any of the 3 original points. If you plug in 11 for x, make sure you get out -7 for y. If you plug in 10 for x, make sure you get 0 for y. If you plug in 5 for x, make sure you get 5 for y. I'll plug in 5 real quick. So that would be a -25 plus 14 times 5, and then minus 40. What do you know? I get 5. So when I plugged in +5, I got out +5, which is one of my points. Yes. Isn't that something? So if you just have 3 random points, you can find the equation of that quadratic. I know. You never knew how many skills you have, but there you go. Shall we try another one? Great idea. Okay. So I'm gonna flip. Who has a preference? We can do any one of them. It doesn't matter. They all should come out with A, B, and C. I'm pretty positive. Should all be integers. So just like when we were solving these, like if you've got fractions or something crazy, there's probably something wrong. So does anybody have a preference between 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6? Birthday girl, pick a number.
Oh, okay. 6.
6, you got it. Okay, so everybody go ahead and, yes, go so fast. Go ahead and take your points for number 6. So we have 6, 6, 9, -12, and 4, -2. So go ahead and take a moment and see if you can write the 3 equations that those 3 points produce. Okay, take a moment. Don't go past that. We all got to make sure that we have the right 3 equations. So one more time, you're taking your generic formula, ax² plus bx plus c. You're going to plug in x and y into that. And you do it once for each point. So you're going to get 3 brandy new equations. Be very, very mindful of your signs. Because one wrong sign is going to send this problem into a tailspin. Okay, who can tell me their equation for the first one when it's all cleaned up and it looks nice? Jimmy, go ahead.
32 is equal to 81.
What?
Wait, that's wrong. That's wrong. Sorry. 8 equals 36A plus 16.
Yes, that looks good. Okay, so everybody make sure that your first equation looks like that. 6 equals 36A plus 6B plus C. Yeah, good. All right, someone tell me your second one. What does that look like? Elise, go ahead.
-12 equals 81A plus 9.
Perfect. There's the second one. So make sure, let me zoom in a little bit. Make sure that yours looks like that, right? So make sure you have the -12 there. All of these happen to be positive. All right, and who's got the third one? Angelina, go ahead.
-2 equals 16A plus 4B.
Yes. Now, if you feel comfortable enough to take the point and jump right to here, that's fine. I just need you to know where these pieces are coming from. All right, so be careful, don't mess it up. Now it's up to you to decide, well, how do I want to, what, I don't see a pair of opposites immediately. But it's always going to be easy to do it with the C's because the C's are always just going to be C's, right? So I usually almost do the exact same thing every time. The top one as it is, multiply the middle one by a -1. And that'll get those C's to cancel. And then I can do it again with the third one. All right, but you don't have to do it that way. You can do it however you want. So, but that's my method. So I'm going to take my first one as it is. And then my second times a -1. Watch your signs, be really careful, take your time. Because as you know, one mistake, and now everything is off. And it gets so frustrating when it doesn't work out. Oh my gosh. See, I already made a mistake. I didn't multiply by a -1. Dopey. Oh. Sorry. I think that's it. Gosh. See, I can't talk while I'm writing, just like I can't talk when I drive, because I will drive right past the exit on the highway. You're a negative. You're a negative. You're a negative. Those cancel. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so I got here. Yep.
So you don't need to be.
I multiplied everything by -1. So it was -12,
Oh, yeah.
but now it turns positive. So I'm here, but do you see what I see? I can divide everything by a 3, couldn't I? You could even do by -3 if you wanted, just to make my number smaller. You don't have to do that. That's up to you. Sometimes I don't do it yet just to see what my other one comes out as, because with my luck, right, the other one will come out with a positive 3b. And then I'll be like, oh, well, I shouldn't have gotten rid of it because now I just have to put it back in. So sometimes I wait just a minute and let me just do the, let me just get my second start equation, which I didn't even start it. There we go. So third, I'm going to leave it as it is. And then the second I'll do times -1 again. Okay, so yeah, I can, now that I'm seeing, yeah, it would be in my best interest to divide. I'm gonna divide this one by 3 and divide this one by 5. So that's gonna give me 6. And you know what? On this side, I'm actually gonna divide by a -5, so that'll turn my b positive. So now I kind of set myself up really nicely to have those b's be opposite of each other already. Does that make sense? Is everybody okay? So now I'll just, I'll take this one, I'll just rewrite it over here, and I'll be ready to add those together. So it looks like I got -2 for A. And what's so cool about this is it really doesn't matter if you picked different equations to work with. If you didn't divide these down, it doesn't matter. Whenever you solve for A, we all should have gotten a -2 as long as we did our math right. And you might not have even solved for A first, right? You could have, who knows what variable ends up getting solved first. Doesn't matter. When you eventually solve for A, we all should get a -2. Did you? Did you get a -2 for A?
Yeah.
Cool. Once you have A, remember, you're gonna go back to one of your start equations or your simplify. I guess I should put a new star, right? Because I divided by 5. So this is still my start equation, just simplified. So I'm gonna go right to this one. I'll just pop in that -2 for A. And now I can solve for B. Yay, so now I have 2 of my 3. And then I just get to go back to any original that I like. I'll take the bottom one because the numbers are the smallest, but it won't matter. You can pick any one you want. And then we can just solve for C. Once you have your 3 numbers, pop them in. How was that? It is a lot of writing. Each problem does take a while. Don't forget that you can check this. I'm going to check 6 times 6 real quick. So if I plug in 6 for X, 6 should come out for Y, because that's my first point, right? So let me see. If I plug in 6, that'd be 36 times a -2 plus 24 times 6 minus 66. Well, what do you know? Came out with a +6. Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so satisfying when it works and everything's nice. It is the most frustrating thing in the world, though, when something went wrong and you can't find it. Ugh. But my best advice to you, keep track of what in the world you're doing. So just these little notes to ourselves. Hey, we took the first, we did the second times a -1, right? Starring your equations. It makes it so much easier when there is a mistake to try and go back and figure out where that mistake was. So if you do, just keep track of where you're at. All right. Ready for your homework? I'll take that as a yes. So I'm gonna have you try 2 of these on your own. Just 2, that's it. Which 2 should we do?
Spaced out. Like ones that aren't right next to each other.
Oh, so yeah, I was thinking 7 and 8
Oh, it's my work. Oh, wait, on what page?
on the back.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know how you would even attempt to fit this on this paper.
yeah.
I would, you gotta do it on another sheet. I would think. Let's do 7 and 8. That'll be easy. 7 and 8. So we didn't quite get to talk about switching between the forms, so we'll touch on that tomorrow. But that'll be it for today. So let me go open this on Jupyter. How's everybody feeling? Okay-ish? All right, give them a shot. Okay, extras. you are stuck, let me know. If you're getting decimals or fractions, let me know. I can try and help you find it.